Shalom, giving all praise to Yahweh, Hashem, Al Shai, Hashem, Rakakodah, Shalom to the 144,000. And the rest of the elect out there, Shalom to you all. This is the beginning of the end for Babylon the Great, being that we're in the 249th year of since 1776. When you look up the average lifespan of an empire, Babylon the Great is an empire. It's 250 years, so they got one year left before they take it out, and they're gonna lose this next war with Yahweh Shai and the angels. So what I did was I typed in lists of wars America got involved in. Gave me the list right here. I clicked down here, as you can briefly look through. Revolution was to break off from being colonies. They were originally the colonies of Great Britain. War of 1812, that was a war with the money changers, Rothschilds and so forth. Indian wars, because they had to take the land. Look at this. From 1878, Indian wars. Those were not the wars. Had a series of wars with Gad. They were taking Gad down. Just like, no different than Yahweh Bashem Yahushai telling Moses to tell the Israelites to take the land of Canaan and kill everybody. So that's what they did with the Gadites. A troop shall overcome him, but he shall overcome at the last. Genesis 49. Civil war. The war between the South and the West. Confederate States. Spanish-American War. We read about that in Daniel chapter 7, for example. World War I. We read World War I and World War II. We read about that in those wars in Revelation chapter 9. So let me do this. Make this short. Okay, this is Pete Hegseth, however you say his name. Pete Hegseth just announced they preparing for a new era of war against all enemies. It's on, and we are enemies. We are, because what makes us enemies? We're telling you that the Most High is going to take this place out. So that means that we're enemies, because the Most High is an enemy with this system. So let me let it play. Then I'm going to go back into that list.
Good morning and welcome to the War Department.
For years it's been the Department of Defense. The Constitution, Department of Defense. Defense meaning you don't start wars, you finish them. Someone starts a war against you, you have a right to self-defense. When you say War Department, that means you're looking to start wars. You're looking to take things over, which makes you the bad guys.
Because the era of the Department of Defense is over.
No more defense. This department is a proactive instead of a reactive. So the Most High is putting the spirit on the warlike spirit on these devils to do what they got to do. So this can very well be the last administration. So how long does he got? 2025, 26, 27, 28, right? He's got 3 more years. Then you got the new president to come in 2020, what is it? 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, right? The new president will be declared president, unless if they go that far, or knowing Trump, he can declare himself as president for life. He can do what he done tore up the Constitution. He does what the fuck he wants to do.
You see, the motto of my first platoon was, "Those who long for peace must prepare for war." This is, of course, not a new idea. This crowd knows that. The origin dates to the 4th century Rome and has been...
Well, he could have said the Babylonians. He could have said the Persians and the Medes. He could have said the Greeks. He could have said the Chinese military forces. You know, he could have said a lot of things. Why Rome? Let's listen to that again. This is fair use, fair use, fair use. Another hint that this is Rome all over again.
Prepare for war. This is, of course...
How did Rome become an empire? By declaring war against their neighbors. And when they would surrender to the legion, there was more than one legion, which was about 7,000 men. And they had ships as well, and they would always fight. The sovereign nation would always fight, get defeated, and declare that they would sit down for negotiations of peace. And then what Rome would do is not put you in slavery, but they put people in slavery. The gladiators they put in slavery, they enslaved them. And you had enslaved gladiators, which were Jake and other nations round about. Some of these gladiators became popular and eventually received a wooden sword from the emperor himself, and he was a free man. And later in the Roman history of the Caesars, Jake began to become Caesars, and a lot of them became Caesars that were formerly gladiators, slaves. Show you that in the movie Gladiator Part 2. Denzel became Micranus. And 217, 218, he ruled for 1 year because another Jake took his head taken off. But he was a gladiator that came up in the ranks under Caracalla, which is the son of Septimius Severus. Septimius Severus was not the first Jake ruler of Rome. Stop saying that. Do some research, Nate, instead of regurgitating what Yeshaya said, or High Priest Yeshaya said. Okay? All these guys, this guy, Hexit rhymes with exit. Pete Hexit, he was one of them Roman, maybe he became a senator, head of a legion. These are Romans coming back. They're coming back, and they're coming back to get pushed back. They're gonna get their shit pushed in.
Of course, not a new idea. This crowd knows that. The origin dates to the 4th century Rome and has been repeated ever since, including...
Now, when he said the 4th century of Rome, that's when Jake, the 4th century of Rome, that's when Jake was ruling. Okay? We're talking late 200s, 300s AD. Jake took over the system, man. Jake pushed Esau out.
By our first commander-in-chief, George Washington, the first leader of the War Department.
And he wasn't the first president. He had a series of presidents. One president was a Jake by the name of John Henson. He was one of the presidents, a president at that time of the what do you call it? I think that was called a congressional. He was a president over the 13 original colonies. If you go to D.C., there's a statue of him, and they got him looking like a white man, but it was a Jake. So they lied about that. There's a famous bronze statue of John Henson. He looked just like a white man, made out of copper, if I'm not mistaken. But he's actually a black man. and I believe he was a Moor. He got a lot of help from the Moors. They were financed through a guy named, an agent by the name of Haim Solomon, which I believe he's a Jake. He was a Sephardic Jew. I believe he was a Jake working for the Rothschilds, or the Illuminated ones.
It captures a simple yet profound truth. To ensure peace, we must prepare for war. From this moment forward, the only mission of the newly...
They don't know what they're getting into. You know, a week or so, a couple of days before Canelo was going to fight Bud Crawford, he didn't know he was going to get his ass whipped like that. He had no idea, not knocking Canelo. Canelo's a great fighter. He just has trouble with slick slide boxes. They always had trouble with slide boxes. I would have never took that. I would have fought this guy, Benavidez. Before he had a better chance with Benavidez because he was right there in front of you. You fought a guy, a boxer that can punch. Oh, they getting ready to step in some shit big time. They getting ready to get got.
The restored Department of War is this: war fighting, preparing for war and preparing to win, unrelenting and uncompromising in that pursuit.
Keeps throwing up hand signs, if you notice. Keeps throwing up hand signs.
Not because we want...
Strama of England, he pushed the ID, digital ID, he kept putting up hand signs, same hand sign. See, like I say, we got to speak in code. Guess what? They speak in code all the goddamn time.
War. No one here wants war.
That's some bullshit. Everything you got it through war. Everything you got it through war. Give me a second here. American Revolution. The 13 colonies. A colony is when you show allegiance to the king, and they say, oh, we're going to take this land. We want you guys to go up front. Oh, we like this land. We're going to keep it. Fuck you. Guess what? They stole that land from the crown. And the crown stole it from Dad. When you devils came over here since Columbus. Oh, and Columbus holiday's coming up. So we gotta talk about him too. Y'all came as thieves. Y'all came proactive as wars. Talking about we don't want war. That's all you love, war, man. What do you think football is? Football is organized war. Boxing, MMA, that's organized war. The jousters, organized war. Okay? Indian wars. From 1817 to what? 1898. We're talking damn near 100 years of war. Mexican War, these lands that you're kicking the Mexicans out of, they were here when you got here. Civil War, you couldn't even get along with yourselves. Spanish-American War. World War I, they didn't mention French-American. Did they mention French-American, Spanish-American, Revolutionary War? World War I, World War II, that's Revelation 9. Let's listen to a little bit more.
But it's because we love peace.
You don't love peace. You ain't got no... Hey, everything that you did, and these motherfuckers that are shooting up every goddamn thing, that's the American way, really, if you want to be honest. You came over here with you Homo sapiens and your guns. You came over here and attacked Gad. And Gad taught you how to fucking live. We don't want no fucking war. Fuck out of here, man.
We love peace for our fellow citizens. They deserve peace, and they rightfully expect us to deliver it. Our number one job, of course, is to be strong so that we can prevent war in the first place.
No, if you want something, you lie on a sovereign leader. Oh, he's killing his own people. Oh, he's bringing drugs. Oh, he's doing this. We got to do something about that. We should do a surgical strike. Remember Allende?
The president talks about it all the time. It's called peace through strength. And as history teaches us, the only people who actually deserve...
Hey, the scripture said, and by peace shall what? And by peace shall what? Destroy many. And by peace he shall destroy many.
Peace are those who are willing to wage war to defend it. That's why pacifism is so naive and dangerous. It ignores human nature and it ignores human history.
And Gad, the indigenous people, they were passive. They welcome you with, a lot of them welcome you with open arms, and they shouldn't have did that. So you took advantage of that. That's why it says, in going back to Genesis chapter 9, a troop shall overcome him, but he shall overcome at the last. You made many treaties that you broke.
Either you protect your people and your sovereignty, or you will be subservient to something or someone. It's a truth as old.
Ultimately, that you guys took by force. The scriptures speak about another man's boundary, landmark. Let me go see if that's in Deuteronomy. That's in a couple of places. Give me a second here. Put the right word in. I don't know if that's considered one word. We'll find out. Okay, let me do it this way. Come on now, let's go. Let me try landmarks. Landmarks. Okay, let me do it this way. I'm sorry, y'all. Let's try landmark and then landmarks in the KJV. Okay, here we go. Good, beautiful. Landmark. Deuteronomy 19 verse 14. Thou shalt not remove thy neighbor's landmark. In other words, take their land, which they of old time have set in thine inheritance, which thou shalt inherit in the land that Yahweh the Most High giveth thee to possess it. So Esau had your land, you had your landmark, which was south of Palestine. Anything you went outside of your landmark, you're guilty of that. Deuteronomy 27, verse 17. Cursed be he that removeth his neighbor's landmark, and all the people shall say, so be it, or amen. When you came over here, you took over the 13 colonies, you went out, went west, go west, young man, under the thing called manifest destiny. Look that word up. And the Monroe Doctrine. The Monroe. Let me do this. I'll do this in. Give me a second here. Let's look at the Monroe Doctrine. The Monroe Doctrine. Let me go to images. Here's a good one. The Monroe Doctrine, American imperialism. Right, how they took lands over. This is the Caribbean. Let's come on back. What was the Monroe Doctrine in simple terms? The Monroe Doctrine was a U.S. foreign policy statement in 1823 that warned European powers to stay out of America, declaring the Western Hemisphere off limits for further colonization, so we can take over more lands or interference. It asserted that the U.S. would consider any European intervention in the independent nations of America as a hostile, more stout than their fellows. That's what that means. Act and establish the region of a U.S. sphere of influence. Manifest destiny. Oh, this is what I wanted. Manifest destiny was the 19th century belief that the United States was destined by God to expand its dominion and spread democracy across the North American continent. They went west. They took over the east, which was the 13 colonies, which was the East Coast. You got New York, New Jersey, Philly, so forth. Then they said, the whole saying was, go west, young man. There was opportunity out there. The big gold rush out in California. So let me read that again. The 19th century belief that the United States was destined by God, like God is with us, to expand its dominion, lordship, and spread democracy across the North American continent. Now, let me give you the images. So this woman didn't exist, but she was leading the people to the west. So the symbol is this white woman, this lily white woman with a robe on, floating in the sky. This is a symbol of America. A nice woman, Edomite woman with long flowing hair, feminine looking. And you can see part of her leg, Isaiah 47. Going west to expand. In whiteness. Wouldn't work if they had a black woman up here. So this whole War Department thing is about taking over.
Old as time. And since waging war is so costly, blood and treasure, we owe our republic a military that will win any war we choose, or any war that is thrust upon us, should our enemies...
He said any war we choose, meaning the war that you decide to make. Oh, let's attack. Oh, they got gold down there. Let's attack that place. Let's lie on the guy, say that he's killing his own people so we can be justified in attacking that place. This is it. This is it. You're going to fight against an enemy that you cannot fuck with. That's Yahushua and the angels. After they get rid of you, there'll be no place found in heaven. Pursuant to Revelation 12.
Choose foolishly to challenge us. They will be crushed.
The angels are going to, the Yahushua and the angels are going to challenge you, and they're going to destroy you. And this is pride. He's speaking with pride. The pride of thy heart have deceived thee, thou that dwelleth in the cliffs of the rock.
By the violence, precision, and ferocity of the War Department. In other words,
so the War Department is not reactive, it's proactive. It looks for enemies, it looks for trouble. So the Most High put a spirit on this man, really on Trump. And it was brought down to this individual right here. The demons are working with him too, to make them think that they're invincible. This is beautiful. Yahweh Shem Yahushai is setting y'all up beautifully. Once that chip gets out there, it's on.
To our enemies, FAFO.
First FAFO. FAFO. Let me look that up. FAFO. 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 Oh, okay. That's the Jake uses. We use this term, so I didn't think Esau. FAFO is a slang acronym for F around and find out. Well, that's what they're gonna do. They're gonna F around with Yahushua and the angels, and they're gonna find out. So that's a he's speaking out of pride. He's speaking out of pride. Anybody mess with us, we taking shit. You gonna F around and F with them, the Yahushua and them angels, and you're gonna be wiped out of the heavens. Like Jack Crabb said in the movie Little Big Man, how did he say it? He told General Custer, was General Custer's last stand, because the Cheyenne Braves slaughtered them. So Jack Crabb in the movie, you got to see that movie, Little Big Man, starring Dustin Hoffman. He played Jack Crabb. He said, you go on down there. He said, because those ain't little women and children. Those are Cheyenne Braves. And they're going to take you out. And what happened? Let me do this. Custer's last stand in a nutshell. Custer's last stand, more formally, the Battle of Little Bighorn, which actually took place, was a disastrous defeat for Lieutenant Colonel George Armstrong Custer. He was full in pride. That might be, Hexic might be him coming back. And the U.S. 7th Cavalry against a large coalition of Lakota Sioux well, it was a Sioux. Cheyenne, because he called them Cheyenne Braves. And Arapaho War. Ooh, wait. They got together, man. They got together. That was a massive army, man. Underestimating the Native American forces, Custer divided his troops and attacked a large encampment, resulting in the annihilation of the entire command. He died on the battlefield. The battle was a decisive Native American victory and a significant event in the Plains Indian Wars. Who declared war against them? The U.S. cavalry, marking a turning point that led to intensified military efforts to subdue the tribes and confine them to reservations. Because that's the reason why they took over, because the Most High was with them to take over. But that was he died on the battlefield, man. And his men. This is beautiful, man. You had it had a coalition of Lakota, Sioux, Northern Cheyenne, and Arapaho warriors. And they were chopping your heads off, chopping your arm, cutting you up, taking what you had. That's why you see Gad with the clothes of the American soldiers. They would take their clothes, they would take their guns. So this guy could be cussing coming back because he had that pride. He had nerve enough to say FAFO, which I didn't know what it meant, because Jake says that, FAFO, F around and find out. I didn't know Esau was up on that. And he had a little smile on his face. Yeah, you guys are going to FAFO against Yahushua and the angels, and you're going to be wiped out of the heavens very soon. Anyway, with that, shalom, on to the next shalom.